What would a fight between King of Beasts Kaido versus Akainu look like? Keep in mind, Akainu only has like one full-length canon fight so far that we've seen, so I will highball him for this hypothetical just so that, I can make the Akainu fans a little happy. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how strong he's gotten in the last 2 years. He could be a monster for all we know. I mean, he was already a monster, but anyway, let's get into it. For starters, Kaido's gonna go all out in this fight. This isn't like when he fought the Supernova and he wanted to see what they could do, so he let them power up, he let them hit him. Akainu is an admiral, and not only that, he's a fleet admiral. I'm pretty sure Kaido knows how strong admirals are, and he knows who he works for, so he's definitely gonna fight this man with everything he has. I can definitely see Kaido starting off this fight like shooting off borrowed breaths, because why not? It's a very easy to spam move from him. But like when he was chasing Jinbei to get to Luffy, he can propel himself through the air with his magma, so I could see him doing that to like weave through the borrowed breaths. I can see him getting in close to Kaido, like going for a magma punch, and then Kaido probably like switches back into his normal form or a hybrid form, and he goes in with a club swing. And this is where some of the high ball comes in for Akainu, because we don't know if he can use advanced conquerors. We're not even like fully sure if he's a conqueror. It's speculated that the three admirals were doing that to stop Whitebeard's attack when he was about to sink all of Marineford, but one, that was never concretely stated, so it's still kind of speculation. And two, even if it is, it took 3 of them to do that. So if we assume that Akainu can do it, I don't think Akainu alone can just like clash with somebody like Kaido and then, not get pushed back. They would clash like this, and I can see Akainu getting pushed back first. After he does, I can see Kaido going in for a swift Thunder Bagua to try to follow up. But like when Jinbei threw a punch at Akainu and he like did the Katakuri myth and he like caved this body of magma in, I can see him doing something like that to avoid the Thunder Bagua, because he's not getting out the way. Keep in mind, Luffy with Future Sight couldn't even get out the way of that, and that was not even a hybrid Kaido. But regardless, let's say he does that to avoid it, and then he like counteracts with like a great eruption coming right at Kaido's chest. However, unlike Whitebeard, who was on his deathbed, and during this moment where he got hit, he had a heart attack, Kaido is the King of Beasts, he has dragon scales, and he's an Oni. Like, I do not think this great eruption is going to put a hole through his chest, but it will leave a scar. But after getting a burn scar to his chest, I can see Kaido taking this as an opportunity to go, you know what? Hybrid form. At this point, Kaido's going to be moving way faster, and that's going to be a big problem for Akainu. Not saying that he's slow, but even Marco and Viscera were able to get the jump on this dude. And his response to that was like, how irritating hockey users, huh? Because they were able to damage him here. That's with basic hockey. We're not even talking about advanced conquerors hockey. But regardless, the speed that Kaido showcases when he's actually serious was even able to make Gear 5 Luffy get hit by a lot of things he could not keep up with. If Gear 5 Luffy's getting hit by a lot of these things, even through blocking with hockeyed up arms, this would be the section of the fight where Akainu starts taking big damage. However, unlike Whitebeard hitting him with only Devil Fruit, he's getting here with pure hockey, so he's feeling him way more than he would against Whitebeard. I can see Akainu trying to throw out counterattacks to get Kaido off of him, but then Kaido can just use his advanced conqueror's hockey to just block his moves without having any of the magma touch him at this point. So very quickly, this starts to look like an uphill battle for Akainu, because the damage is stacking up on him, but he only got like 1-2 good hits in on Kaido so far. The logic being that if heavily wounded old people like Whitebeard can sneak up on him, if Vista and Marco can end up sneaking up on him, then a hybrid Kaido can definitely speed blitz this man into oblivion. But let's say he could get out more magma attacks to like connect on Kaido. We've seen characters like Jinbei block his magma punches with his bare hand, and even though his hand gets like covered with fire afterward, Jinbei makes a full recovery from this. And last I checked, he doesn't have a mythical Devil Fruit, he's not an Oni, and he don't got dragon skills, so Kaido can take these magma punches and stuff much easier than people think he can. If Akainu wanted any hope of winning this fight, he would have to use his awakening, which to this day, we still don't really know what it does. But this is already a headcanon video, so let's just keep the ball rolling. For this video, let's say that awakenings for a Logia can like change the climate, change the entire terrain into the element that the Logia user has. So Akainu can make whatever place that they're fighting on a magma plane, which doesn't really mean too much to Kaido, because with one of his strongest moves, he coats himself in magma anyway, so this doesn't do much to him. Not only that, unlike Kuzan back at Punk Hazard, Kaido can just de facto fly, so you can control the terrain all you want. I don't have to be a part of it though. So I can see it kind of starting to make the terrain like a magma hellscape, and then Kaido will just take up to the sky. And while up there, I can see it kind of like launching upward a bunch of meteor fists. But like he did against Snake Man Luffy, Kaido will just use Future Sight to avoid every single attack that Akainu throws his way. Even if I were to say that Akainu like gets a couple of these hits in on Kaido regardless, if he's already covered in magma, I don't see them doing too much. Let's also not forget that Kaido always has like haki protruding from his body just like Big Mom a lot of the time. So if characters like Shanks can stop his hand punches and stuff with just like a blade, then Kaido can just, stop any of these punches if he really wants to. And then from there, Kaido has two options to end the fight. First option is I can see Kaido flying up and then flying down like really fast and just coming with a Ragnarok out of dragon form. So he has like full max speed on this. The same move that KO'd Luffy. Keep in mind, this is the same man that was speed blitzing Gear 5 Luffy. I know he has the speed to pull this off. And once this move connects, Akainu is done. Because an Emperor using a very strong named haki attack can one-shot an Emperor. We have a lot of evidence of this in the series, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. And then the second option is, from the sky, if he sees that, Akainu's turned the entire plane into a hellscape, alright, I'm just going to pick it up, drop it back down. Turn it upside down, drop it in the ocean, it don't matter. At that point, Akainu just dies too. But don't get me wrong, Kaido would definitely be leaving this fight with several burn marks all over his body. And that's just giving Akainu some of the credit that maybe he can get through Kaido's scales with this magma. We're still not too sure. But with everything that we've seen in the series and even giving Akainu things that we're not sure that he has just yet, I give it to Kaido probably like 10 times out of 10. But as you saw, Kaido would have had to pull out some of his strongest moves just so that he could beat this man, so Akainu still deserves the credit. But again, these are just my thoughts on what I think the fight would go like. If you have something different, leave it down below. I want to see some, different perspectives.